Let's see. That should probably work now. We can check though. Let's see if we can get a confirmation that that's working.
Let us know if you guys are receiving sound.
Let's see. That should probably work now. We can check though. Oh yeah, I can hear it coming through the line. That's good. Get a confirmation that that's working. Good, good, good. All right, I'm going to disconnect from that then.
Sound.
Yeah, it definitely is. I've got like a monitor on here as well, so that's kind of fun.
Okay, great. And guys, you guys can all ask questions in the chat as well. But right now, just ask Robert about if you can stake XGT.
Yeah, so it's an interesting question, and the answer is sort of the way staking works on a lot of other cryptocurrencies. What they'll do is they'll encourage you to put a kind of lock on some coin that you're holding, and that lock, they call it the staking process, and then you earn interest on that cryptocurrency. That's what Ethereum 2 sort of principally how it works, and then you get kind of paid interest based on what you staked. And XGT doesn't really work like that. The staking process depends on having inflation in the underlying currency, because you're not paid as part of the mining process. You're paid as a staking process, and Ethereum supply works through that. So new coins on XGT are only minted through the mining process, which is through essentially guessing SHAs, just like Bitcoin. One of the things that's worth pointing out, though, is that unlike Bitcoin, XGT has got a virtual machine that we're building at the moment, and it'll be ready to come out soon, which allows us to run DeFi type projects and new tokens on it. And those tokens that they're like ERC20 tokens on Ethereum, those can have supply rules which have emissions, so you can build staking coins on top of XGT. And part of the reason
you're not anti-proof of stake then.
Well, so where I am is I'm against proof of stake as a top level governance mechanism. I think that being able to provide those opportunities for people is important, because those might be trade-offs that people want for running their own tokens. But I believe that in order to have real security at the top layer of the network, then governance and consensus and governance are sort of synonymous in a cryptocurrency. That the root level governance, which provides security for everything else in the network, has to be proof of work in order to be really truly secure.
So going back to this whole, that's awesome. Going back to the virtual machine, can it be used as like, incorporating NFTs into XGT?
Yeah, and there's actually a formal NFT specification, and the NFT specification for how a smart contract would work in order to provide NFT abilities on something like XGT. The virtual machine that we're building can specifically do that. One of the reasons that this is sort of really important is because it's an opportunity for people who want to bring value to XGT to take work in smart contracts that already exist and be able to easily and quickly port them onto XGT. So it's actually, once a virtual machine's available, it's easy to start NFT core projects that let people come in and produce NFTs. NFTs are super hot, and what's really, really important for me is to be able to provide easy business building opportunities for people in the community, like for people to bring cryptocurrency projects in without all of it being dependent on one central organization or one central group of people who have the ability to control these things. Our experience building cryptocurrencies in the past, we worked on a cryptocurrency which had a market functionality built into it, and it had a stable coin built into it, into the core, and it had it had all sorts of neat stuff in it, but it meant that those were not opportunities for the community to come and build those things, and being able to offer as much opportunity to the community as possible is really, really important to me, and really to this project.
Yeah, I was wondering why why are you releasing proof? Yeah, going back to the kind of piggybacking off that, why are you doing a proof of work instead of proof of stake? What's your biggest reasons for that?
Well, our experience with my team and I worked on a proof of stake network actually some years ago, and it
Talking
was
about Steam, right?
yeah, it was Steam, and it was very attractive. The proof of stake has these sort of really attractive properties. It's really fast. You get lots of transactions on it. It doesn't have this like run computers really hard in order to produce blocks like Bitcoin. Bitcoin takes a lot of computational power to have a secure network, and so it was really attractive to to work on a proof of stake network, um, and it has problems, and those were borne out in reality, and we sort of theorized about it, but we really found that having a proof of stake network has real problems, and what happens is that control is given really to people who are able to control and stake the coinage. You're really giving governance to the coin holders. And there's a big separation between that on a proof of work network versus on a proof of stake network. And if you think about, Satoshi Nakamoto must have considered using stake as an option. It's not a complex thing, because what you're really saying, proof of stake is based on this principle of if you're incentivized towards having good behavior because you hold the coin. That's what the trade-off is. And in a proof of network, you're incentivized to have good behavior because you're only going to be rewarded by having good behavior based on having your network participate in a high integrity way. So what we found is that on a proof of stake network, the ability for governance to exert control over people who have a lot of wealth on the network meant that human frailty was a problem. And when there was, we found that the stakers, the validators on that network, which are called witnesses on Steam, when there was a change in the way the supply worked a little bit because of who held Steam, it caused real problems because they started changing the rules to their own advantage, and they did it defensively, which I understand. And they did it because they were concerned about what you could do if you had a lot of Steam, and because there were agreements that they felt they were sort of owed something. And those are problems that come to be when you mix coins with the governance of the network. And that's very different when there's miners. The miners are incentivized only to ensure the strong functioning of the network, and the decentralization, the ability for anyone to come in and participate in the way that the network is governed, makes it a lot safer for the network participants. It's safer to hold a lot of Bitcoin on the Bitcoin network than it is to, say, hold a lot of Steam on the Steam network, because a smaller group of people control the way the network works. And that's going to be the case with every proof of stake network. So even something with Ethereum, for example, there are only going to be thousands of validators. They're not going to be tens of millions of them. And those validators can conspire. They can form cartels. And if their payoff is big enough, or if they want to exert certain controls on the network, then that's very much easier to do when it's just based off of token holdings as opposed to just machines. So for that reason, what we've done is we have created a cryptocurrency which uses proof of work, which you have to mine in order to be able to essentially mint XGT to create new XGT. And we use that system to be able to create and use and maintain smart contracts. So it's a very powerful thing that we've created.
That's awesome. Yeah, this is our first time doing this YouTube. It's just cool to kind of get people's feet wet learning about XGT. Like, what would you say to somebody watching who wants to learn about XGT? Like, you talked about the virtual machine. Maybe discuss what are some cool things going on with the virtual machine, and what are some cool things that people should know about XGT.
Well, so there's a few things that are really important. The virtual machine is actually in development at the moment. And if there's a couple of things that people can do to really support the project. the virtual machine is important because it unlocks a huge amount of software and tooling available to to everyone that's enthusiastic about XGT. And we started actually without that, so that we could start getting the word out and start getting it mined and start working through those. There's like two big sections to XGT. So the virtual machine arriving is like a really big, important start of the project. The second piece is, if you are interested in supporting a project, there's mining is a big thing, and it is never going to be easier to mine than it is today. So mining is a little bit involved by virtue of how we built XGT, and one of the things we want to do is make it easier to sort of mine XGT, and I think it's very important for the health and stability of the network. And then the second thing is, we're actually growing the community and being able to participate and say, these are the things which, like, this is a project which is important, and helping people understand why XGT is important, specifically because we're bringing a legacy of very strong economic properties of the underlying XGT network, and being able to run these smart contracts on what is a strong decentralized network on an ongoing basis, even after big smart contract projects move to proof of stake. I want for people to have an understanding of how much value it's possible to create on a proof of work network as a long-term proposition, and that our ideals of decentralization and security are actually more important than just transaction rates. Those are my sort of the things that I'd encourage people to look into and to understand more about with XGT.
That's awesome. Yeah, and if you guys are watching and want to ask a question, feel free to put it in the chat as well. I was curious about, I think I'd asked you earlier, I wanted to ask on camera, the mining situation, because I'm not knowledgeable in mining. So I don't think most people are. I think there's a certain group of people that are, and most people are plebs and don't know. Do you see mining, can you see it ever evolving? Like I think I asked you, in 20 years, can you see mining changing to where it's different than it is today? Or do you think the process will kind of not evolve on any certain level, will kind of stay the way it is?
No, it's definitely not going to stay the way that it is. And as the project grows and becomes more successful, then one of the things that will be very important is to actually make it easier and easier to mine XGT, to allow people in and contribute to the security of the network. So one of the things that's been really important so far is to be able to make it run on regular computers. That was one of the original hopes of Bitcoin. And aspirationally, what I want for this project to do is to be able to just download a little program that you run, you double click on, and it starts syncing with the network, and providing security for it. And ultimately, as we grow, we'll grow to support pools of people, so that as you contribute to the network, you can be rewarded in XGT. So I think there's multiple stages of the life cycle of how easy it is to mine XGT. Even Bitcoin now is very easy to mine. It becomes very quickly a question of, is it efficient and cost effective to do so?
For someone who doesn't have any money and they're just getting into crypto, do you think it would benefit them just maybe if they just had a laptop, just learning how to mine XGT, for example, if they don't have any money to invest in any token? That might be a good way to get started, right? I mean, they could come to the Discord. I mean, there's people in there that will teach them how to do it.
Yes, and it's very low barrier to entry, and this is actually a very good time. Now we're sort of in early October 2021. Now's a really good time to do that. That will also change over time. At the beginning, Bitcoin was really easy to mine. There's a reason Satoshi has a huge control over a huge portion of the supply of the Bitcoin network, was because at the beginning it was easy to mine. And in fact, for a long time, it was just him and a couple of others. I believe that we'll see something similar with XGT, where it's easy to come and bring a computer and mine. Especially with the prevalence today of high-powered gaming computers, which are particularly well suited to mining XGT. Like the miner, like I operate a miner, and some of my team operate miners as well. because we believe in the network, and so we are part of the operating fabric. There's a bunch of other people. We've helped people from Singapore, from Germany, and from France. We had a guy from Poland who was mining a lot of XGT, and others more close to us. It's possible to do it with commodity hardware. We've got people who can. We have found that, like, if you have a sufficiently old and weak laptop, um, then you may have some problems. Um, but if what we're finding is the threshold's about like 8 to 16 gigabytes of RAM, so not a super rubbish computer, but also not like an ultra high end one, and a relatively modern AMD processor. You can mine very efficiently, and earn XGT for helping operate the network. That process has got a lot easier as well since we started the project, because we've worked through many of the early issues. We've had a lot of technical advancements on the project, even in the short time. It's only been operating for a few months now. It's very early days.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I think I've been telling people I know, people are interested. I think it's good to get people learning about mining and the benefits of getting involved early, right? Especially in XGT.
Yeah, there's definitely it, and the main factor is that the more people that are helping secure the network, the lower the individual miner payouts are. So it really, there's big incentives to participate early and to help be an early contributor, because the only way to get XGT right now is through the mining process. There'll be some opportunities later to help have more people have access to it, but as that distribution begins and occurs, it'll become more difficult for people to actually, as it has value, the network participation will go up as well. So I would definitely encourage people to mine XGT at the moment. And oh, cool, we've got some people joining here. That's awesome. Sound good now. Sound from both. So James says AMD Zen series CPUs definitely recommended if available, and that is absolutely correct. Those are like super good, and they've been very popular in the last couple of years. They actually sold out a whole bunch of times. There's a lot of very good opportunities for people to use the computers that they have to support the network, operate the network, and it makes it more secure and adds value to those that have mined it. So it's very the Bitcoiners call it NGU. They call it numbers go up technology. And as more people participate, it adds value to the network, it adds value to the coin, and it increases what it'll be worth as we move through the stages of the project's life cycle. Because if this keeps going the way that it will, it'll wind up with a market presence. It'll wind up more available to people. It'll wind up on exchanges. And so the best thing that we can do for adding value to the network right now is to come and mine it, and to help other people find out about XGT. It's a lot of, like, there even small things, right? We announced XGT on Bitcoin Talk it was either early July or late June, and doing little things. We can find links to that in the Discord. Be doing things like going and finding that post and uplifting it, puts that in front of thousands of people. Like, we have people join when there's activity on the Bitcoin Talk post. They're just very easy things to do to come and help build value for the network. So yeah, it's kind of fun. It's a lot of fun.
I mean, Robert, you're busting your ass. You're doing a lot of cool things. This is cool that we're doing this YouTube. The Monday Crypto Talk was so exciting. I didn't want to leave, but it's good to get people, knowing directly about your project, your baby, and how cool a project this is.
And the Crypto Talks have been amazing, because it's like, there have been some, like, we've had amazing support since the beginning, and as more people come and they begin to share what they want aspirationally from cryptocurrencies and talk about their projects and consider being able to do them on XGT, it's been very powerful to see people invest their time and energy and computer power and expertise in the project. I have a lot of gratitude for that effort people are putting in.
It's been fun, man. I mean, it's been real fun, and I think that's cool that we're growing, because I think the more people that show up, they're going to be like, oh, you guys are very knowledgeable, you guys are very cool, and they see how smart you are and how amazing you are, and they're going to want to be a part of XGT. So it's cool that the Crypto Monday talks are growing, and I appreciate everybody coming, and I'm glad that we're starting this now too, and we can get people in detail. We can talk about in detail XGT, and you know, hopefully get people knowing about this amazing project that's coming out soon.
Yeah, and it's been a labor of love. I mean, I've been working on XGT in some form or another for uh, 3 years now, and there's some really exciting things which are coming down the tubes, and um, but for us to be able to get to the start of the blockchain and putting the Genesis block down, um, and just the like people like the first uptick where the difficulty ramped up really fast was simultaneously like amazing and kind of terrifying, because we ran the network in a way like I've never been through that growth period of a cryptocurrency where it's going up 10x a week, and like first in a sustained period, and it was I mean, it's an amazing experience. um and as we get into this, just this sort of the long marathon of where we are now, um, seeing people beginning to build businesses around XGT, seeing people begin to, we've been approached a couple of times for people looking at integrating XGT into their products, which has been really cool. I wasn't expecting to happen so quickly, and we're supporting some people to kind of build XGT into what they're working on. That's been fascinating. And actually, the community support, there's people who have contributed not only their time with mining and coming and joining us on a regular basis. We run a regular Monday cryptocurrency talk, that you've been, I like, huge kudos to you for putting that together and operating that. XGT's been really central there.
It's growing. It's so fun, and
It's amazing.
Cool to start this out. I actually had a question off topic.
Of course.
About, and if anyone has any questions, please put them in the chat. I was going to ask you, because I'm not really knowledgeable in the whole wrapped. So you could do a wrapped XGT on like Uniswap, right? Because it's Ethereum based, right? So that's why Bitcoin, you can't buy Bitcoin on Uniswap, but you can buy wrapped Bitcoin. So can you explain to everybody the whole wrapped token, and is XGT wrappable?
So wrapped Bitcoin is there's an organization which runs a wrapped Bitcoin provisioning, and what they do is they back a virtual token with an actual coin. So wrapped Bitcoin can be redeemed with that organization for actual Bitcoin. So it's kind of a peg against Bitcoin. And what they say is, if there are 10 wrapped Bitcoin in circulation, then we have the ability to furnish 10 Bitcoin back to people. And so you can trade a wrapped coin with the expectation that it's backed, as long as the organization behind it is reputable. And so that's how wrapped Bitcoin works. It lets you trade Bitcoin using another coin. And actually, there's not only on Ethereum is a wrapped Bitcoin, but other tokens that support the ERC20 specification have got wrapped Bitcoin versions as well. And you could do it with any coin at all. So absolutely, someone could do that with XGT.
Yeah, it's interesting to see, because I don't know the supply on wrapped Bitcoin, but I'm just wondering, does that take away from the actual Bitcoins that are available?
So the way it works is, something like it works very similar to something like Tether. And what Tether suggests is, their hypothesis behind something like Tether is that every Tether is backed by something that has a dollar value. And that's how a stable coin fundamentally works. So yeah, it's someone. John just said, sounds like stable coin for Bitcoin. That's precisely it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I tell people, look, I think having wrapped Bitcoin, if you don't have access to buying real Bitcoin, like, because you can't buy it on Ethereum-based networks. You can't buy Bitcoin on Uniswap, for example, right? But you can buy wrapped Bitcoin and say, listen, buy wrapped Bitcoin.
Sure. Yeah.
So going back to XGT, I was just kind of curious if you could wrap it. So the virtual machine's coming, is like, what's the timeline looking for the virtual machine right now?
We're hoping to get it onto testnet. We've been aiming for. We're running a little over where we want it to be. There's a number of instructions that are sort of left that we need to implement, and we're getting through those. The virtual machine has about 180 or so opcodes, and we're down to the last 3 for this version. So we're getting really close. And what we're going to do is we're going to put it on a test net, and we're going to start using it a little bit. So there'll be some details coming out fairly soon for being able to try building smart contracts on using essentially a Solidity Light language on XGT. And once we have some good confidence that that's actually functioning, we'll start preparing a mainnet launch. So hopefully in the next 2 to 4 weeks, we'll be able to get. I would like to see us on a test net within 2 weeks. Honestly, there's, like I said, and part of the reason it takes a little bit of time is some of the opcodes are very simple. They're just mushing 2 sets of bytes together. Some of them are more complex, and we're down to the three of the more complex ones, which are call CC, and return, call code, I should say, and return. So that'll be that's an important milestone for us to hit.
That's great, man. That's great. Yeah. And then, in terms of the actual project, is there any update for everybody in terms of, what the timeline's looking for possible release dates? Is there any? Are we moving in the right direction on that right now?
Yes, and the release of the virtual machine will open up a couple of more projects for us. The next big release that comes after the virtual machine, from a software point of view, is we have a mobile wallet, which will which actually we're beyond the prototype stage, and that's a very exciting thing. And we're going to see the company that we have here, Gather, is producing a mobile wallet for XGT that will let people be able to send and receive XGT to each other. Part of the reason that's like a big deal for me is actually how quickly these things are coming together. So Cardano has been working on their virtual machine for a number of years now, and we're doing a scratch build virtual machine, Ethereum compatible virtual machine. It'll have taken us a year to do it from scratch, which is amazing. And we've got a wallet which will be ready. The wallet, I will be pushing very hard for the wallet to go to general release before the end of the year. And for us to have that within 6 months of going live is a fantastic turnaround. I work with amazing engineers. I'm very fortunate to work with them. So those are the next sort of big release things that we can be looking forward to in terms of software that's making good use of XGT.
That's awesome news, Robert. Everybody's really excited, and I think coming out it'd be nice to have that come out. Things are going to get really heated up here, as you know, from 2017 with the cycle. Like, I think everything's going to kind of pump pretty hard. People are going to want to know about this legitimate project.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and I'm glad to hear you say legitimate project, and it's part of the reason that I feel like we're going very slowly, even though we're making fantastic progress, and I'm hungry and I'm enthusiastic for being able to offer and bring this thing out to more people. I think the wallet is very important to us because it means that it's easy to for people to be able to transmit XGT between each other. It's possible to do it now. We have a CLI wallet. It's in our sort of our like home territory. It's easy for us to build it there, and we've been producing a lot of early functionality through that. But it's not good for regular people, and so that's part of why we're bringing a mobile wallet, because it makes the ability for someone to just download an app and set up a wallet, like create a new address, and then be able to share that with each other. We've also got like some really cool functionality in there. I'm not going to go into just yet, but I'm like, it's kind of fun what's coming for that.
Yeah, I mean, look, I was just shilling shitcoins in the crypto talk, and then you come to here and you have like your doxed, the robust programmability. Now, I will ask about this being a sound money project. Is that something that we have to watch out for? You as a head, inventor and dev, for using the term sound money, is that something you think that's okay to use while promoting XGT, or do you think there's, that's something that the SEC or something might have an issue with saying?
It's really hard to tell. The SEC makes clear its opinions when it has them, and has been very reserved about having a clear. It's been clear only in a few cases. So it thinks that Bitcoin is not a security, which is cool, and it thinks that Ethereum is not a security, which is cool. But they don't have a well-established position for new cryptocurrencies. What they do is they have a very clear record of trying to look out for retail investors and making sure that people don't get ripped off, making sure that people are clear on the risks involved with getting involved with new projects. And like, let's be clear, XGT is a new cryptocurrency. It's a new cryptocurrency project, and it's not a risk-free thing. Cryptocurrency is volatile, and people should be aware that it comes with risks. I think what the SEC really pays attention to is when projects make claims like it's going to go up 1,000% a month. And I've read a lot of SEC filings where people have made outlandish and it's too good to be true claims about their projects. And the SEC is not a fan of that. They want people to be honest and transparent about what the chances are. And like, XGT might work and it might not. But I do know that there's great people behind this project and that we've been working really hard. And it's kind of nice to build a new code base to bring something that we're very passionate about, and that we believe in, and are trying to do everything we can to be illegal and as safe as possible. I mean, I very believe in that. I really believe in that. It's part of the reason why I have my name and my face on this project. And there's a lot of coins out there which are built anonymously, and good luck to them. Some of them will be very successful, and people are usually not very legal when they do that.
The problem is a lot of those get hype and they pump, but they usually dump, and they don't stick around long term. So
yeah, and the XGT that I have, my company has, is stuff that we've mined, and that's really important.
I see a question in the chat. Do you want to?
Oh yeah, there we go. What dApps and kind of dApps do you expect to see to come to your blockchain first? I think that there will be a couple of early projects to it. I think we'll see an NFT project early. I would be very surprised if we don't see an NFT project very early. I suspect that we'll see the kind of Hello World apps of cryptocurrency kind of turn up. I think that those are often things like basic lottery type games. Those are often kind of, because they're so elementary in the way they work, like receive 10 transactions and then pick one of the recipients at random to receive those incoming transactions. I think we'll see those arrive quite quickly, and then I think it'll be more sophisticated what turns up. I don't know what people will build. I do know that we've talked to actually a couple of parties who are interested in starting their own coins, and being able to own tokens on XGT. And when they do that, we'll see things like it's possible to have interesting minting rules come out there. So we were talking to someone last week who was interested in having a sort of governance of people who want to reward sort of high integrity acts with cryptocurrency. XGT would be a good platform for that. I think it'll depend a little bit on what people want from their, what they want from their cryptocurrency. It'll be interesting to see.
I mean, I'm super excited. I know the NFT craze right now. I mean, I've definitely fallen into it, and I would love to, as much as I believe in you and believe in this project, it'd be so dope to have, incorporate NFTs into it. So it's cool to hear you say that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you. And NFTs have been a really interesting use case, and I think one of the things I'm excited about with NFTs specifically is they have uh, some very interesting properties to do with anything which is kind of serializable. So shares are serializable, and we're going to see some really interesting NFT innovations over the coming months with that. And a lot of people have done very well being able to offer uh, NFTs, which are artists have done very well off of this, and I'm glad for them. NFTs artists really deserve a break because it's hard to monetize as an artist. So that's been really pleasing for me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm seeing all the Ethereum competitors. Everyone's coming out with an NFT right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So to have a proof of work project, I'm not sure if there's any proof of work projects that have NFTs right now. That's actually a really good question that I need to do some research on.
Yeah, and some of the transaction properties of XGT in terms of their ability to um, create transactions uh, without high cost will be attractive for many of those platforms. Um, we were talking about some NFTs earlier, and you have to do it on Ethereum. You pay a very high minting fee, which is just like the getting started. Pay the man property of having to like actually pay per NFT. Um, yeah, something like XGT is actually very attractive for that. We've also had a business look at using XGT as a kind of tipping and reward service, precisely because it at the moment has low transaction fees.
That's what
Um,
Stake, yeah. So Strike just did that on Twitter for Bitcoin, which is amazing.
mhm.
That'd be amazing if you could get that in to reward, you know,
Great.
workers, for their appreciation. I think that's definitely the future, and I think, being a proof of work and being a legitimate project. I think I'm very bullish and very happy to be part of this, man. That's really cool that's where you see it going.
Yeah, and what's really neat is that there are some of these businesses that I want to build, and there aren't good platforms for doing it on right now. And to have to put in the energy to create something that doesn't exist in order to be able to use it. I mean, it sometimes feels like the long way, and it is a hard thing to do. But I believe there's opportunity for others to come in and to lower their own barrier to entry in terms of um, building projects that are secure and decentralized and valuable, um, and which are honoring the principles of cryptocurrency without kind of taking technical pragmatism shortcuts. I especially think that you know cryptocurrencies which have got a very principled stance to supply over the long term offer a great deal of value, and I think that there's a hunger in the market in general for inflation resistant projects, um, and XGT's supply is a deflationary. XGT is a deflationary coin, and that's attractive. I personally am very bullish about deflationary cryptocurrencies, things like Bitcoin. I know Ethereum wants to be deflationary currency and isn't. Um, you can't have 5% inflation and call yourself deflationary. That's like not a thing. Um, and so I'm very enthusiastic about the sort of core principles of cryptocurrency and bringing them really purely in XGT.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, the tipping thing. I didn't even know about that till now, and then the NFT incorporation. I think I don't think there's any other. I mean, that I can think of. I think this would be pretty innovative. I think it'd be the first proof of work project to incorporate NFTs, if I'm correct.
It'll be the first deflationary coin to be able to offer NFTs. Yeah, that's like a big.
That's
We start being able to. I mean,
that's
that's
transformational.
it's one of it's where the reason for having the XGT, the shape of XGT being what it is, doesn't make a lot of sense until you look at why it is that way, which is most cryptocurrencies are inflationary, even those that want to be deflationary and aren't, and almost, if not all, cryptocurrencies with a virtual machine are inflationary, and that's where XGT's real um, power comes from, is being proof of work, fixed supply, and a virtual machine. Um, And we should do a talk at some point about energy, which is kind of the secret sauce that makes all this possible. And that'll be a good conversation for us to have another time.
Yeah, there is a crypto I was looking into called Athena that's trying to lower the carbon footprint. I think there's a lot of that's the whole thing with BTC, right? Like Elon was saying, I want to be more about it once they figure out a way to mine more green. So I think that's a big thing going forward.
It is, and if we can get XGT to a point where it's really successful, it'll be a question we have to navigate. Bitcoin has had to take a look at how it finds the energy to run, and it's by and large going green. If you want to run a mining operation, the thing you want to do is run it off a green energy source. Like Bitcoin is absolutely going that way, and any proof of work network needs to consider its fuel source. Really, XGT will be no exception to that. Go solar.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah,
I know you really do care about the environment, and so it's cool to see you, going that, moving in that direction. Guys, this is our first time doing the live stream YouTube on XGT. If you guys have any other questions, put them in the chat. Talking with the inventor and creator right now, Robert Day. Thanks for all coming to the Crypto Monday Talks earlier. This is the first time doing this, and this is really excited to be moving forward and continually be talking with you guys and promoting talking what's new with the project.
Yeah, it's been a good experience so far, and I'm really, I think we're at the beginning of what's possible with this. Getting it sort of onto the runway and just gently into the air is a start, and we're just I think I'd encourage people who have got this far, listening to XGT, to go to www.xgt.network and join the Discord, and we'll help you get started mining. Like, we're super enthusiastic. Is one of the biggest things you can do. If you don't have the technical chops for that, talk about it on your Twitter, share the links. It's getting the word out to people, and getting people ready to be able to use the wallets and be able to sort of acquire and hold some XGT is like a big deal. That's the biggest things people can do to support the project right now. Unless you're an engineer, in which case build stuff with XGT, like all about that.
That's awesome. Yeah. I mean, I'm literally telling people, I was very, blessed to be introduced to you and got to know you a little bit, and got to know that, you really are a genius, developer and creator of this. And I just, me being so, in the shitcoin scene and seeing what else is going on, and actually seeing this is going to be around for a long time, and seeing the differences, it's really made me want to see why, I put so much, put time into this to be a part of this, because, as much as you can turn a quick buck in a shitcoin, this is going to be around a long time, and I think this is going big places. So I appreciate you, Robert.
Yeah, well, your support on this has been amazing, and what I'm trying to stay true to is the wisdom that we have from having worked on big, successful cryptocurrency projects before, and addressing what we learned there, and having the principles that are so important for cryptocurrency and trying to live by those, of decentralization and security and integrity. And that's not always easy, but it has been very rewarding so far, and we hope to keep adding to that. So,
yeah, I agree. Do you own any Steam still?
I'm not. I couldn't. There's an old TV show called. In fact, it was House of Cards, the English version, and the guy in that said I couldn't possibly comment, and I can't possibly comment on that.
Probably just wondering. I think all tokens, including dinosaur coins like Steam, are going to rip this cycle eventually, right? So
projects which are legitimate do well, and projects which take shortcuts on legal in particular, people get hurt, man. And I
have to say, look at the third biggest market cap in the world right now is Hex, and that's a complete Ponzi scheme.
Good luck to him. God bless him.
But I'm just saying.
Yeah, no, it's good. I just hope everyone's okay when Mr. Gensler comes knocking, because, I'm
not promoting in any way. It's just interesting to see people like Richard Hart. And I don't want to go too off topic, but someone like him who's doing all these projects, and he's just openly, he's doxxed, he's openly talking about it. It's really interesting to see that whole other, because you'll look on CoinMarketCap, Hex isn't even listed. You have to like dig deep to see. It's not considered a legitimate project. It's not on Binance. It's not on any major exchange. But yet if you look at it, they technically are the third biggest market cap if you do your research.
God bless him and good luck to him. Yeah, there's a guy who turns up quite regularly on our crypto, on your Crypto Monday talks, um, and he has some opinions about things for that.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
Panda.
I mean, I try very hard to stay
Oh, yeah,
focused
okay.
on.
Yeah.
I try very hard to stay focused on what XGT is doing next and making sure that we're doing the engineering and legal and marketing work that is in the best interest of this project to make it as safe and valuable for people as possible. And sometimes there's two forms of wisdom, right? Which is learning from your own failures and mistakes, and then learning from the other kind is learning from the failure and mistakes of others. And
Well, you're doing a very good job, Robert. And what else do you want to tell people? Since this is our first discussion here on YouTube, and guys, if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. What else do you want to tell the people today? I know I went over a few things, but is there anything else you wanted to cover?
I think a lot of the success that is possible with this project will become more manifest as people spread the word around XGT. It's designed to be accessible and safe for people. It has a high security profile and an amazingly supportive community. Come join the Discord. You can find us at www.xgt.network. And I'll make sure there's some links around the stream to help get into that. That's the big message. Carry the word of XGT.
Yeah, I mean, you're really early right now if you're watching this. I mean, we've grown the Discord to maybe like 200 people in the last few months, and we've just doing the Monday Crypto Talks, and this is our first time doing this. So you are early. If you are here, you're with a very legitimate person here who is very honest, very hardworking, puts all his time and energy into XGT, and this is where the updates are going to come. I think we're going to start doing these more regularly, and get the word out that there's a legitimate project that's going to be around for a long time, and you be getting in from the ground up and be a part of the community. Because Rob, I can't imagine you hurting a fly. You're a very honest, very, very smart guy who people can pick your brain about this, and you pretty much are very knowledgeable in all things in the crypto industry. So it's been real fun to joke with you about shitcoins and learn about the blockchain and learn about XGT.
It's a hoot, man. It's really it's a lot of fun, and and I think that the cryptocurrency is very important for humanity. I think there's an opportunity to create a real project with real legacy here, and our ability to do that is really dependent on what amazing things we can do with XGT and create with XGT, and it's a journey, and so I'm just we're going to keep on with it and keep trying to get it out to people. That's really our North Star right now is spreading the word.
Yeah, I'm really excited for the virtual machine updates coming with that, and learning about the tipping and NFT thing. It just gets me really excited because those are things that I think are so beneficial, just appreciation of people and appreciation of artists, appreciating workers, and just to have a way to do that decentralized is just so dope. And I'm just that alone today was just such good news, making me feel really good.
Yeah, well, and it's being approached by people to adopt XGT into their projects has been like anytime the community produces something is amazing for me, and it's it's what you hope when you start a project is that it will bring some use and some value for people, and we've had a lot of support and belief. One of the things that's been really interesting to me is like we've had miners who are working to not become central dangerous parts of the network and trying to help what in Steam we would call minnows, which are people who are trying to get in and get a foothold and make room for them. And I think that's really admirable to see actually miners trying to take care of other miners. So we'll be wrapping it up in a minute just because we're coming up to our sort of the time that we have today. Um, but I would say to people, if you have a computer that can do it, like consider mining, and we'll help you get started. And if you don't, and if you're enthusiastic about XGT or the principles that we stand for, to go on to social, to go on to Bitcoin Talk and like support the conversation. Um, it's a community of people who are building and who are enthusiastic and who are here for our sort of main purpose, which is to create something awesome and valuable. And we will help you. We will do our best to sort of help each of you. So, yeah. Robbie,
That was awesome, man. That was awesome, Robert. Thank you. No, because you don't understand how excited I am now. Like just the whole tipping and NFT news. Like I didn't even know about that till today. So I'm just like I'm like, dude, I can see myself using this for the rest of my life. So I'm like, oh shit, and we haven't even released it yet. And with all your effort and all of your dedication, I just can see this. I just see this being very successful and being very used in a very positive way. So I'm just very, very, very happy to.
And it's all organic right now. That's the crazy thing. It's like the building of it. Like we have investors that are trying to help make this successful, but the adoption we haven't paid for a lot of marketing yet. It's the growth is organic, and that's huge, and it's because people are motivated by these sort of core principles. I think that the level of engagement we've had, there's some people know the team and want us to be successful, and I'm just trying to build a better mousetrap. I just think we can do better together. So
yeah, and this is the very beginning, so that's why this is so cool. Because spread the word if you are watching, because people are always asking about, I want to be in early, I missed this one. Oh, it's a scam. This is not. This it's funny how this is the exact opposite of all of that. This is early, and this is legitimate, and this is gonna have so many use cases, and it's gonna be so awesome just to have this community that was a part of this early and look back on this in 10 years and go, whoa.
The community is our biggest asset. We have very enthusiastic people, and they, we have it's just very powerful, knowing what support we have. John just asked a question: which sources of info about the industry do you both recommend one turn to learn more? For those of you that haven't, I've done a little writing myself, just talking about the difference between proof of stake and proof of work. I think it's very important to have consumed sort of the three big articles that Plan B, he's on Twitter as 100 trillion USD. He talks about why Bitcoin is valuable and what his hypothesis on what drives Bitcoin's value is. I think that's very important. A lot of cryptocurrency fundamentals are derived from Austrian economics. So you can look at some of the sort of core hypotheses, which are looking at inflation-resistant assets. So guys like Mises, I would look into Austrian economics specifically, and look into anti-fragile. That's one of the other things that's sort of very important, is that these things that we're building are very, very strong. They're very, very resistant to failure, and it's been amazing sort of watching that in action. So I would look into also, if you haven't read it, like look at the Satoshi white paper. It's not very long. It's not super complex. I think those are important things that I would look at the beginning. Anti-fragile, Austrian economics, and the Bitcoin white paper. It's like really it's interesting to see why things are shaped the way that they are, and why we would like not reinvent those, like why we would not try and find a better consensus mechanism. Proof of work is extremely robust, and that will help you understand a lot about why XGT is the shape that it is today.
I need to go read that. Thank you.
It's only 9 pages. It's not very big. Yeah, some of it's a little complex, but I mean, yeah, it's good. It's really.
I want to talk
powerful.
next crypto talk about who was Satoshi Nakamoto. There's so many rumors. That's a whole other long discussion.
Oh, maybe
But,
we'll do that on Clubhouse. We'll go and see what the crypto nutters think about that
next Monday. Yeah.
Yeah. Bring that one on Monday. Right on. Well, Robbie,
Please.
I really appreciate you having us. It's been amazing as ever for joining us to talk a little bit more about XGT, and I look forward to doing this again next week.
Keep living and learning, man. Thank you for the opportunity to be a part of this. This is great, man, and I'm just so excited right now about XGT and the market right now. The next few months, just I got to just get rid of my addiction to shit coins, but it's not really. It's just more of entertainment purposes.
If you think the next few months are going to be fun, you should see the next few years. We'll have a little bit of volatility and things are going to be
But
wild.
what about the bear cycle after the blow off top though?
Bear cycles are not fun if you're not ready for them, and if your strategy is to keep going, then there's another read stock to flow, man. Like
Totally. But
that's
stock to flow isn't stock to flow every 4 years?
it says that the numbers change. It says stick a zero on the end every 4 years.
That's what I'm saying. So you want to sell at the top of this year and then buy back in 3 years is what stock to flow usually is what I got out of it.
You could do that. I'm gonna hold. I'm not enthusiastic about letting go of any XGT. I'll tell you what. Yeah.
No, yeah, but I'm talking about altcoins that don't have use case. You make your money this cycle and then you get rid of it. You don't hold.
We'll talk more about that on a Clubhouse. For now,
Okay.
though, it's been amazing to have you, and we'll talk again next week. All right.
Yeah, this is amazing. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Robert. Appreciate everybody, and come to XGT.network. Come to the Discord. Come to Monday Crypto Talks. We're having a blast, and thanks for the new news, Robert. You guys all have a good day. Okay.
Right on. Really good to see you all. Have a good day.
All right. Take care, guys.
Streaming's done.